Ah, all right. What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. Yep, I know. It's out here in the PM of the day. Oh yeah. Pop it now. All right. What up? What up, people? Where you coming from? I know this is unusual. I know this is probably unusual for most of y'all for me to be coming on this time of the day, but we got to talk about this thing. We got to talk about this thing. Let me do a quick video. Let me do a quick video here on IG. Let them know that I'm out here and stuff. Right. What up, party people over here on the ground? This is your man Griff. Hop on over to YouTube real quick. Doing a quick live, and I'm talking about how to make some extra money, or really, can you make extra money doing this thing that you really ain't supposed to be doing? All right, peace. What's going on, people? So what's going on? We got from New York, we got Montana. That's what I'm talking about. So what are y'all thoughts right off the bat about making money modifying people documents? Do you really think that's something we should be doing? And there is an occasion in which it possibly can be done, but people need to understand when it's supposed to be done, and that's the problem. People are doing stuff when they ain't supposed to be doing stuff, and then they get in trouble for doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? So let me post this over here. On YouTube. All right, just post that over there. But yeah, that's one of the problems that we got going on, is that people keep coming up with all kinds of little crazy stuff, telling folk to do. Turn my music off. Keep trying to tell us stuff to do, and we ain't even supposed to be doing it. And let me just deal with this just straight up. Unless your state law says you can, you cannot, because that could be deemed the unauthorized practice of law. You taking time out and modifying somebody's document. Okay, now I'm not even going to tell you where this came from or who said it. You know, somebody came across, and in my opinion, they were talking out the side of their neck with this crap. And I'm like, and they only been in the business 2 years. And this is why you got to be careful of listening to these folk out here that's only been in the business for a short amount of time and constantly trying to tell you how you can make all this extra money, and they can side hustle you and you can side hustle and all of that. It's a bunch of bull. They just come up with stuff out of the blue. They're doing stuff. Maybe they're real good in literature and the English language, and they see that somebody wrote something that's just a little bit ghetto or barrio or whoever, and they take it upon themselves. They're like, hell, oh well, let me let me hop on this here and help you out with that. No, no, we cannot cross over into those lines, okay, unless your state allows you to. And if your state doesn't allow you to cross over into that line of modifying people documents and stuff, you cannot. And this is why you got to be careful of doing that. So let's see here. What? Hold on. Can a notary modify a person's document that needs notarization? So let me show y'all this real quick. So y'all know how I do it. So question is, under what circumstances can a notary modify a person's document that needs notarization? So let's just see what it says. So it comes off right off the bat telling you you can't do this. Right off the bat, this is not something that you can do. Um, and a lot of people want to go out here, and this is where they talk about you can make some extra money. Hit the like button, please. I greatly appreciate it. So just straight up out the back, a notary cannot modify the contents of a document that requires notarization. Their role is strictly limited to verifying the identity of the signer, ensuring they are signing willingly and witnessing the signing process. That's it. You see what I'm saying? That is it. And the problem is people get up in this mug and they start doing all this here crazy stuff and everything. And then they want to then try to teach this mess as if you make, like, hey, you can make extra money doing this. And it's like, nah, 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 nah. Nope, nope, nope. You ain't supposed to be doing that kind of stuff. So this is where the problem comes in at. So said in none in one word answer. Best practice is stay in the notary lane. Good day, Griff. What's up, my man? I'm under the impression that we are not allowed. Correct, we are not. She's coming from Henrico. That is right. We're not allowed to modify these documents. So a lot of people think that we can, and this is why you as a as a business owner, you have to do what? Be mindful of these individuals out here talking this smack and telling us to hold on one second. And everything. So people keep trying to come up with little crafty, sneaky sideways to con you into thinking that you can do something, and then they want you to pay them money for it, and that's just a bunch of junk. Also, you're gonna have to start watching out for these people doing these so-called master classes, okay? And let me put this out here. If you are in this notary business for less than 5 years and got less than 1,000 closings, don't ask me to market you. Don't ask me to try to promote you. Do not ask me to buy anything from you. Okay? I'm not being a part of that at all because I don't think you have enough experience to actually go out here and legitimately assist notaries in getting any kind of information that can be useful, because I don't think you have enough experience in the business. So, no, no. Mm-mm. And even if you say, well, I've been a notary for 14 years, okay, what have you done anything with it? If you just been a notary, ain't done nothing with it, don't even come this way. Because I get people all the time asking me to, hey, I want to come on your channel. And no, I'm not going to let you promote any of your stuff if you don't have some real experience at all. So here's one of the things that a person can do, okay? In doing, if you really want to get into document preparation or assisting people with that, there's a separate industry for that, and it's called document preparation. There's a whole nother industry in out here called document preparation. So let's find out what um can you explain document explain what a document preparation business is. So these services, these are businesses out here that actually you can start depending on the state that you live in, because some states will not allow you to do document prep businesses. And what are the limitations of a doc prep business? So these doc prep businesses, they help people in getting documents done, wills, power of attorneys, things of that nature. But here's the key right here: cannot interpret law or rights. You see what I'm saying? That is what they can. The document prepper, this doc prepper, and versus an attorney. So the doc prepper formats, let me make that a little smaller. Hmm, something just got rescheduled for tonight on me. Ooh, which order is this? I don't know if I can do that. I have to check in a second. So this document prepper says formats and prepared documents, cannot interpret laws or rights, must follow state law, doc preps, costs, and all of that. They cannot represent clients in court. Attorneys can, and this is what's going on. So there are some of the notaries out here who started doing all of that document, like doing estate planning. All of those companies, all of those notaries who are talking about doing estate planning, they're talking about partnering with document preparation companies. Now, here's the thing with the document preparation company, they are limited in what they can do legally for as articulating things about the documents. So if they're limited, then why are we being trained to articulate stuff about the documents? If they, who are the creators of the documents, can't actually talk about the documents, can't advise people on the documents, then how in the world can notaries? And that's my concern about some of those document preparation things, or I mean, sorry, those estate planning groups out there, because that's what they're actually telling us to do. And they're putting us in a position to be basically that's just during the time of the day, y'all. You gotta excuse me. I gotta make my money. Got these orders coming in. So that's the one of the thing. They trying to teach us, hey, let me show you how to walk a client through the documents. I'm like, well, if they're not, the document prep people aren't walking them through, why would the notary walk them through? See, everything keeps centering around us doing all this extra stuff to assist people who really need legal advice, who really need legal counsel to get this bad boy done. And I don't understand why people honestly think that, oh, we as notaries can just slide in to doing this here document prep, document modification, advising, helping people get on legal Zoom and put together a will and stuff like that, printing wills for them. Or I get you a will for you. None of that stuff is legally allowed. None of that's allowed. And if it is, then somebody need to tell me. But those are the things that we are not supposed to be doing. And we're out here doing this stuff thinking that, oh, I can make some extra money. And in all honesty, those things are a violation of our notary laws. So people got to understand that when you hear people talking this kind of stuff, you got to question them. And if you refuse to question them, then something's wrong with you. I'm not trying to be funny, but something wrong, because unless you think that, maybe I can do that. But no, those are things that we cannot do. Well, if I don't find out that I can't do it, then I can. No, that ain't the way it's supposed to work. You need to make sure that you understand what your state laws are and stay away from all of that creepy stuff out there. And it is a lot of creepy stuff. It is a lot of creepy people out here who are like, well, I've been in the business. I got 15 different things. I got this, that, and the other. And then guess what? They have you doing stuff that can get your hind parts in jail. And where they at? They ghost. They gone. So you got to be careful across the board. So I see Miss Pitts in here. I guess you're new. So you have any question, Miss Pitts? Any concerns, any questions about the notary business and things of that nature? So that was supposed to be today. I gotta look and see whether I can do this order now with my schedule that I have, which I might be able to do it. I'm going to say yes to it. I'm gonna say yes. This is rescheduled from yesterday on SnapDocs. So I'm gonna just go ahead on and just say yes to it. I'm supposed to have a 6 o'clock, but I haven't heard back from those people. So I'm gonna say I am available to do this 7 o'clock, and we'll just go from there. So what we got going on, people? So yeah, that's the main thing. So notaries cannot or should not be modifying documents. You get a document, somebody is you don't like the way their diction is, the way that they spell something, their English or whatever the case may be. You cannot just go in there modifying the documents and saying, okay, for an extra fee. Now, if you choose to modify the document and help them out, then you can't be the notary. You need to ask your buddy or somebody else to do the notary part. But if you want to modify the document and help them out and take it upon yourself, you can't go in there as the notary. At that point, you're no longer the notary. You're just some random person that can help them out. Now you can't. Now the thing is, am I going to charge them? And that's what a lot of people, they're doing it so they can charge them an extra fee for assisting them. And I get the intent, but legally, is it something that you're allowed to do? And I don't think so in most states. So you really got to find out. Now, let me show y'all something here. I meant to put this up here before. So I was just asking DeepSeek, what are the limitations of a doc prep business? Okay. So they cannot provide legal advice, prohibited actions, things of that nature, allowed actions, cannot represent clients in court, must avoid unauthorized practice of law, all of that stuff. So if you are part of a group that's talking about estate planning and doing estate planning business, you have to understand who the people are that are, what is the role of the people that's actually doing the putting together the documents. Are they attorneys or are they document prep people? Because if they're document prep people, there's some limitations to what they can do and say. So that means if you're sitting there with them, and I mean, this is a lot. I did not realize this was going to come up. So it says if you're sitting there with a client, you cannot defer to the document prep people for advice because they can't give legal advice. If they're work now, if they have an attorney, then yes, you can go to the attorney and the attorney can explain stuff. One of the companies out there called Trust and Will, they have an option for people to spend $299, I think, a year on top of the already plan they have to have an attorney available to answer questions. If not, then they got to figure it out on their own. So this is the thing, they may help fill out court forms, but cannot argue cases, negotiate settlements, or appear in court, or any of that. Fines and cease and desist and criminal charges may vary, depending on the state. You see what I'm saying? So limited or pre-approved forms cannot create custom contracts and pleadings unless they are statutory forms, state-approved divorce or LLC paperwork, must disclose when forms are not legally sufficient for client needs. So all of these things, and this is why it's important for you to understand that if somebody is trying to ask you to be a part of estate planning or document modification, if they can't run their mouth about the documents, then why can you? What puts you in that category? You see what I'm saying? So what states allow doc prep companies? And one of the big states is Arizona, and the other one is Florida. So Florida and Arizona are two of the biggest states that does doc prep company that allows it. So you got Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Nevada, Utah, Washington, and there are some other ones that they have states where it may be allowed without special licensing. Illinois, New York, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Similar to Texas, doc prep is legal if strictly clerical. Okay, so clerical. So whatever that means. Um, please explain what is meant by strictly clerical. I love the fact that I can type because it would make it hard for me if I didn't. So it basically means that they can must be strictly clerical. It means the business can only perform mechanical administrative tasks, not any actions that could be considered legal advice or practice of law. So you have to be careful about that. So right here it says filling in blanks of pre-approved form, but no drafting new language. So you have to be careful when you start talking about modifying the verbiage that somebody has in their document. And if you don't know whether or not somebody was told to just write it and put it in as is, and then you go and modify it, you could be taking that document into a different realm from what was the original intent. Because sometimes they just want a person to write things the way they normally would write so they can see that it's authentically them and not some lawyer or some person who has a real good diction handle on the English language. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be careful with that, and a lot of people don't understand that kind of stuff. So any questions, any concerns, any thoughts, any of that, was welcome to you from Florida. Love the hairdo. I have no way in the world of knowing how to pronounce your name, and I'm not going to try. And if my wife was busy, she would come in here and probably nail it on the first try. I'm not good at that. I know how to pronounce Sharon. I'm good at that. I can pronounce Sharon. So yeah, so that's the main thing that I wanted to just take time out, and it was on my head, and it's been bugging me for the last couple of days, and I just wanted to share this with y'all because all these people talking about master classes, all these people talking about degrees and their background, all these people talking about, oh, here's how to make quick money. You got to do your investigation. You know, like right now, everybody's talking about apostille. You need to find out what's the volume of apostille that some of these people who are talking to you about it are doing. How much apostille are you doing? I know how much closings I'm doing. I'm doing 85, 90. Now, granted, a lot of people don't want to do all the ripping and running and printing and all that kind of stuff. Got it. But what is the volume of work that's coming in for his apostille? Because see, one of the things I know, and just so y'all can understand, I'm not against apostille. I just don't see where it's a viable option for me consistently. With the loan closings, I can do that. One company, they got multiple loan closings coming a month. If I do a apostille for a couple that's doing a destination wedding, that's a one-time deal. In most cases, they may not be coming back to me again and again. And then depending on where I live at, I may not get a lot of repeat business because they may just only have that one destination wedding they doing, unless they out here catting around and got a couple of other folk that they destinating wedding with. But if they're only destinating wedding with that one person, then it's not like I'm gonna have another apostille to do with them next month. You see what I'm saying? So they get the apostille, but their wedding is like 5 months from now. They're not going to be sending any other additional business to me unless they got other people that's going to be doing it. What's going on, Laura? What's up? What's up? So I'm always curious about the volume of work that's coming and the repeatability of the work. Hold on one second. This is Hey Griffin Notary. Yes, sir. All right, 1:30. That's not a problem for me. Yeah, so what I need you to do is on your end is let your loan officer know so they can, push it through and tell everybody. And I will also let them know because if right, I got that. But the thing is, because they put the order out as meeting at 12, you just have to make sure everybody knows because I don't work for them directly. I'm an independent contractor. So that's why I'm saying because I'm gonna let them know, but then if they don't hear from you, they'll think that I just came up out of the blue and made you change it and all of that. So that's all. So that way we're covered. That's not a problem. Okay, gotcha. And I got you on my calendar 1:30 on Friday. No problem at all, partner. You're welcome. All right. Now, listen, whenever you're doing an order change and the customer calls you, you got to make sure you let them know to let them know that the orders that they want the order change. Because if you don't, it can come back and bite you in the butt. Okay. It can come back and bite you in the butt big time. And all of that. So his order, he is right here. And then I'm going to send them a note real quick while we are here so I don't forget. And then Mr. Harris called and requested to meet at 1:30 p.m. instead of 12 p.m. because of a doctor's appointment. He is also informing his loan officer. This is what you have to do. So then that way you're covered. So now they know what's going on. I'll probably get a notification in a second. Let me know. Well, maybe not in a second, but maybe somewhere after they do their verification, and then they'll be like, "Hey, it's at 1:30 instead of boom, boom, boom," which works out for me. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So that that works. That works. And I had the time to do it, so that I'm cool with that. That'll fit. So I hope y'all understand that out here in this, as a business owner, you are responsible for making sure that any information that people are bringing your way is actually valid for you. So I'll still work. See, it depends on how you market, and you really gotta you I think you gotta do more marketing with that to let people know that you're out here and you have to have your logistics together. One of my buddies, Byron, he's out in Western Virginia, nowhere near the Secretary of State, but he has couriers and he's built his business to where he's actually marketing to different people in every this way and the other. Now he also has a business, a funeral home director, I believe that's what he does. So he's not doing the loan closings to the level that I am. Now, if I would be honest, if I had more of a stable, like when I was working a W-2, I probably could have got into apostille then because that would have been probably a little bit better and easier for me. But for me, what it takes to do apostille, I don't really want to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I like the loan closings because I like the interaction with the people because I get more business outside of loan closings from interacting with those individuals. So that's my thing. So I think apostille is popping in my area because there are people like one young lady named Capri. She's doing great with it. Far as last I heard, she's doing great with apostille. But you got to be able and willing to market, and then you have to have your logistics together to send the documents out to all the different places. And the other thing is you got to be able to know that okay, sometimes you might not always get that $700 apostille. It might just be a one-page apostille. So that's why I say, what's the volume? Because a lot of people talk about making $700 a pop. Okay, well, you need about 13 of those to make 10 grand a month. Is there 13 of those every single month? If it is, cool. If it's not, then what else are you doing to make the money? Especially if you need 10 grand. So these are the things that you have to take in consideration. So for me, I understand apostille, but all of the send stuff to this state, to that state, wait for it to come back. I really don't want to do all of that. And then there's other people that's a lot more organized. And be honest, it's more so organization with me. I don't feel like being that organized. I'm organized enough to handle multiple closings, 4 and 5 closings in a day. For whatever reason, that fits me. And the point that I'm making is that do what fits you. You see what I'm saying? Don't do estate planning, loan closings, apostille, general notary work just because other people say it fits them. You do what fits you. That's why y'all don't hear me talking about you should focus on one thing or the other. I tell you to focus on what? Being a good notary, proper notarization. Because if you know that, how can you fail? There's no way that you can actually fail, in my opinion, in doing the work if you understand how to do the work. And doing the work is you properly doing your job as a notary. So when you have that down pat, everything else will flow. But if you don't have that down pat, you could be the most organized apostille person in the world, but if you don't know how to properly notarize when it's time to, then guess what? Boom. And see, that's another reason why some people, not all, but some people a couple of years ago that I came across, they really couldn't understand how to do the notary stuff. And for whatever reason, it just didn't click in. They couldn't comprehend that. So since you don't have to be a notary to do apostille facilitation, they would have somebody else do the notary part, and they would pay them for that, but they would do all of the other facilitating of the documents, shipping them out, this, that, and the other. But anything that came to notarization, they wouldn't mess with because they actually weren't good notaries. That's just the truth of the matter. The one dude I know, he was not a good notary whatsoever. He was like, it just couldn't click. He didn't understand it. He didn't like trying to figure out the different notarial certificates and all of that kind of stuff. So he did a lot of notary facilitating and all of that kind of stuff. Made his money, did that. I think he might have done fingerprinting also. Nothing wrong with that. So the point that I'm making is that not everybody who's dealing with stuff or focuses on an area or successful in the area, the reason why they're not messing with this thing over here, it could be they're not good at it. And there are some people that are not good at loan closings. There's people that's not good at apostille. There's people that's not good at general notary. There's people that's not good at estate planning. So they operate and they float in what they're good at. As I've always said, the problem becomes when people start making you feel bad about where you're good at. If you're good at this thing, then what's wrong with it? Well, I just wouldn't do it. That's cool. Don't do it. That's more money for me. That's the way I look at it. So I never put down anybody for doing any of the stuff. You do what works for you. I respect that. I'm going to support you in it. And if there's anything that I can do, I will help you to understand it and learn it. That's why I have in the description, the $10 30-minute talk session that I do for people, Q&A session, to help them. If I got one at 9:00 tonight, if I got one at 9:00 tonight, where I'm trying to help people understand what is best for them in this business. Not, hey, I'm going to tell you this is what you should do. You do this and you'll make money. I think you can make plenty of money just doing general notary. You can make money doing anything that really just simply deals with being a notary. You just got to be committed to it. That's it. You just got to be committed and do the necessary things. So it says, thanks to all you do. Appreciate it, my man. There's a special place in heaven for you. Thanks, Tim. And then I want to stamp and be done. In Pennsylvania, Shane, I agree. You stamp and be done. Yeah, it all we got to do is get in there, do our job. That's the thing. One of the things, and I know many of you saw my live that I did last week. I'm just double checking my time because I got to pick my son up from work, take him to work to his other job. He gets off at 3:45, and it is a little bit before 3. Y'all saw my live. How many of y'all saw the live from Friday? It was a 3-hour live. I had some guests up there. If you saw the live, put a 1 in the chat. If you saw the live. So I put a 1 because I saw it too. Here's one of the things that I meant to mention is when it comes to document explaining or expounding or articulating or guiding. Hold up, it's best to do a visual. It's best for me to do it as a visual. All right. I have to do this as a visual. So I need to know when a person goes to this particular site, how many folk are available live right then and there to explain documents. Remember now, part of what they have them do is DocuSign. They have them e-sign documents ahead of time. So the question is this: who's explaining and giving overviews of the documents when they're on DocuSign? When they're on DocuSign, when they're at this site here, there's no notary guiding them through the documents. There's no notary showing stuff to them, because I've had closings where they've actually just had them e-sign the note and e-sign the CD. And in some cases, e-sign the altar. So if they have them e-sign the note, the CD, and the altar, and all you're dealing with is okay, documents uploaded for 6 p.m. tonight. Got it. And all you're dealing with is all the affidavits and the deed and a few other documents that probably require wet signatures that aren't affidavits. They may want the loan application, all that kind of stuff. How in the world can you say now that we are face to face, the notary has to do all this document guiding? It's imperative that we guide them through the documents to ensure that they know what they're signing. But yet when they did this, DocuSign, ain't nobody there. They tell them, well, read the document. If you have any questions, call us. So why can't we do that when we're doing face to face? That's the question that I have. And that's what I meant to ask the other night when I was on live and the power had cut off on me and everything, because that's what I was leading to before the power cut off on me. We had a storm come through. We're asking notaries to do all this stuff, but yet nobody is there for the couple or the person when they're doing DocuSign. Ain't nobody sitting there showing them anything. They're on their own. They're grown people, and they are asked to what? Read. And then they get with us, and it's like, well, they can't read. Notary, you got to go line by line, precept by precept with them. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. Let me see. It says, Sharon, you have helped the Pass, thank you. And we were, yep, you're welcome, Sharon. Said, I've learned more. I've learned the more you explain the document, the more questions you tend to get. Short, sweet, stamp, and leave. That is it. And Camille, that's my girl there. She down there in North Carolina. She gonna be doing great in this business. I'm serious, Camille. You know I got your back. And then said the mortgage affidavits. I have the person call the loan officer if there's any questions. That is correct. Why is that? Why is what? Why is what? Why is what? Is it why do she have them call the loan officer if that's what you're asking? Because here's the thing. Notaries are here to ensure that the person is who they say they are, that they're doing this of their own free will, and that they understand what they're doing. Those three things. Who you are, you're doing this of your own free will, and you understand that you or what you're doing. And we're also there. The fourth thing is to witness them signing the document because they're doing it of their own free will and they understand what they're doing. So if you understand what you're doing it of your own free will. We verified your ID. The next thing is that's left for the notary to do is to witness you signing and then fill out the notarial certificate that states we witnessed you signing. That's it. The notarial certificate is to say that we witnessed you signing this document because you acknowledge and agree to the terms and conditions of it. How can you acknowledge and agree to something that you haven't read yourself? Now, can somebody give you a summary? Yes. But would you prefer to have full knowledge of the documents and an agreement, or would you prefer a summary? And with the technology we have today, I don't understand why people are not being given the opportunity to review the documents ahead of time. Now, we have the situation where people get the documents very, very late. They get them together late, and therefore the signers don't get the opportunity to review the documents. Well, most notaries will say, I'm fine with them reading. But the problem is you got the signing company on your back asking you to do what? Hurry up and get this done within an hour so you can make the drop as well as bring scans. But the people who created the documents haven't even allowed them to review the documents. That becomes a problem. That's where the conundrum ends. Now take it to another step. They read the documents, then you start trying to explain the documents. Why are you trying to explain something that they just read? Well, I want to make sure they understand it. Is that your role? ROLE. Well, no. Then why are you doing it? I think it's just good customer service. But what did your state say that your role is? ROLE. Well, yeah, I know what my state said, but I just think it'd just be nice to do. That's when you start getting yourself in trouble. Nice to do gets you in trouble sometimes. So you have to be careful of that. Why do you leave the client on their own? Oh, that's the title company. Okay, we're not leaving them on their own because we don't even know as the notaries when they want them to DocuSign stuff. And whenever you're doing a HELOC, most HELOCs that are coming out now want them to DocuSign. So they're DocuSigning some of the stuff in there. Sometimes it's even the loan application. And I've had them e-sign the stuff in front of me. And there's no one there talking to them about what these documents are. You see what I'm saying? No one. I don't know what was happening. So that's the thing. And here's the thing. If the title company and the lender, in my opinion, what I'm saying is, these are my words, don't feel that it's necessary and important and a requirement to have somebody sitting with the signers while they e-sign these documents, then why is it so important for a random notary? Keep in mind, we are random notaries that get called in out of the blue to sit down with somebody who we only had a 10-second conversation saying, I'm Griff the Notary. I'm meeting with you, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, at 4 o'clock on such and such date and time. I mean, such and such date at 4 o'clock at this location. We good? All right. See you then. That's it. We have no more communications with them. We're not talking to anybody else. We're not getting any kind of 411 on nothing. We go off and do what we need to do, and then come back, get the documents, meet them, get them signed, stamped, dated, and then we're out. And now all of a sudden you want me, who got all these appointments, to stop and then like, okay, now I just got the documents 30 minutes ago, so let me go over this. And I'm a brand new notary, and I don't really know much except for notarizations, hopefully. And now you want me to make sure that Fred understands and comprehends this document. And ain't nobody ever talked to me about a Washington, D.C. document. Nobody talked to me about the Texas mineral rights. Nobody's talked to me about the California whatever, P-Corps and all of that kind of stuff. But yet you want me to be able to guide them through this. And they've e-signed documents and nobody was there for them with that. But you want me to be there as their savior for this. That doesn't make a bit of sense. How would that fly in a court of law? You say, well, the notary, he told me and I did what them said. And they looking at the notary and you like, there's no excuse. It doesn't make sense. So what my man said, right? They don't understand them. I heard about both sides, Griff. From signers, my experience, signers feel the notary rushes them to try to get to try and get everything signed, dated initially in 15 minutes. I don't think it's the signing service. Well, remember now with SnapDocs, is if you on SnapDocs, as soon as if you got a 4 o'clock order, at 5 o'clock you getting a notification, update the order. Same thing with signing order. Same thing with signature closure. Sometimes you're getting these notifications like, okay, so the other side is the notaries. There are some notaries that just want to rush through, and some notaries are actually, and you're right. But rather than they're taking too many appointments and they're trying to rush through. So you have a combination of the two, and I'm glad you brought that point up, of individual notaries that are overwhelmed. They got themselves in a bind of doing too much. You have these signing companies. There are some that's out there that are like hounding you to hurry up. Notary Go is one of them, to hurry up and say, yes, you're done. And when you're going to scan back and all of that. So you have that. So I don't rush people. And sometimes I have to ignore the noise from the signing company and tell them, hey, they still signing. Like yesterday, I had a POA one. The lady was still signing, and her daughter was hungry, and the little baby was hungry, and that was hungry, and I was hungry, and I was hoping somebody would have dropped the French fry by my daggone notary stamp. It was just like, and she was signing POA for her husband. She was tired, this, that, and the other. And the signing company was like, are you done? And I was like, we still signing. But these automatic notifications go out. Even with Notary Dash, I can and do a Notary Dash order, no matter which company, be done in 15 minutes on a small thing, or even 45 minutes. Update the order, scan back, everything is uploaded and done. And I still get a notification saying, how did everything go? And I'm like, why are you filling up my email inbox with questions about something that is completed? I don't get it. It's frustrating to me that people are doing that. That if I got everything done, I should not get an email asking me how did everything go. It's that simple. And if you have a POA Or you're working with an elderly person, hey, give me an hour and a half with them. But they don't. They want it done that. And one company, they 45 minutes in, wasn't even an hour, 45 minutes in. So when are we going to get the scans? I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even say nothing. Let's just get this done and we'll get it done. But that's what we got going on. So you're right, Caprinas. There are notaries who do that, but it's a little bit of a combination of both, and depending on where you're at, and everything. So I'm like, this is crazy. So that's my thing. If the signing company, well, the signing company got nothing to do with it. If the title companies and lenders don't think it's important for the customer to have somebody on standby while they're reading through the documents, meaning physically there while they're reading through the documents to answer questions, then why are you asking me to do it? You said you want me to be done in less than an hour. You wanted me to hurry up and scan back. So don't ask me to add additional. Or you can just give them an overview. Why? Why? How about giving them the documents ahead of time? How about creating a video where you have one of your staff go over each and every single type of document in there, and then the customer reviews that and they look at it, and just being when you file bankruptcy, that's what they do. They have a system with bankruptcy that you go through, and you have to, and they give you a certain amount of time for each and every page. You cannot click and just click, 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 and be done. No, you actually have to sit there on each and every page for the amount of time that they feel it should take you to read that. And then you click the next one and the next one. And I think a system such as that with videos that says, here's your 4506C, here's your deed, here are the key things that you need to look for or be aware of in a VA deed, in the assumption of the VA assumption policy. Here's the key things that you need to know and understand about the what's that thing called? The certification, the VA certification. Why can't they do that? You see what I'm saying? What's wrong with doing that? That's the part that I don't understand, because we got notaries, and I'll be honest with you, I'm basically one of them that when I start ripping and running, y'all hear I start, my words get tangled up sometimes and all of that. And then you guys notaries they're nervous. They don't handle stress well, and it's not an issue. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's just that's just how some people are. There's some people that it's like, I never seen this before, and now you done threw a new document in there. Now I got to go back home. All of this here, and now you want me to sit here like, okay, and the 4560C, this document here is one of the key tax documents for the IRS, and the historical implications of this is this. You ain't got time for all that. You ain't got time. If you're concerned about having some random person mess up what you don't work your whole year for 4, 5, 8, 10, 12 months, and then you want to actually put all that effort into a random person to sit here and make sure that they do it right, not talking about the notarization, talking about all of the documents, that don't make sense to me, y'all. And I know I'm rambling right now. I know, but I'm just saying, think about it. From a common sense, you won't even let some new person watch your child. You don't even go to the bar. When you go to the barbershop and you see the new guy there, you're like, I ain't sitting in this chair. When that brother get about 2 years experience and about 1,400 heads under his belt, then I'll go see him. Then I'll go. When I see her base about 1,700 heads for their relaxer, then I'll let her, then she can touch my hair. Let me see how she washes it. Nah, she too rough. Nope. She been to pull the skin off my scalp. No, she don't know how to wash hairs, right? I'm just telling you, this is how we are as humans. And then now you become a notary, and all that goes out the window, and they say, hey, you random notary, go make sure they know what they're doing. And you're like, huh? Yeah. Can I get some more money? No. Put your hand down. You ain't getting no more money. Just go do it for the $3 we're gonna give you. It's not $3. But that's what I'm saying. You want me to take on more liability, but for no additional cost. And me doing that takes me out of compliance of my E&O insurance. See, all of these are factors that you as a business owner got to take into account. So let me go back in here. Tracy from Northern Virginia. What's up? Camille said 100. Said, does anyone in the group know who sell paper? You can go to Sam's Club. I get my paper from Sam's Club. $40 for their regular old paper. I get um I get my paper from this company here. I can just give you the email. I don't have any affiliate link, so I'm not worrying about all of that. From this site here, Office Supply. They used to be Zerby, Zerbee. They used to be Zerby. They got bought out. They got letter paper right now, Boise, which is one of my favorites. For 42 for the whole case. You can get that in 2 days. 20 pound, 92 bright. That's just the basic. Overall, that's a decent deal. Now, compared to Sam's Club, when I go to Sam's Club, I'm getting it for $40 a case. So I'm getting my paper for $40 a case at from Sam's Club. So that's what I'm doing. Letter. Hold on. So let me bring it over here. So this is what I'm getting from Sam's Club. I'm buying this same thing, 92 pounds. 92 bright, 20-pound weight. So if this one ends up going higher than this one, then yeah. Or if they out, then yeah, I'll buy the other one. But right now, I'm going for for what is the most affordable. This, but I get my legal paper from here. Legal copy paper. I get my legal copy paper from here if I can get it on sale. This is 84 for me. I don't want to pay that much, but you got free shipping. So you can do that, or I will check Amazon and see what Amazon has for legal copy paper. Let me check. 8.5 by 14. So basically they running about the same for the same one, 83, 84. So if that's what I got to pay, that's what I got to pay. But my legal paper lasts me a good little while, so I don't really worry about that. As you can see, that's my legal paper there. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got about 8 reams worth of paper over there, some and everything. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. And then Office Max, like he says, inexpensive Office Max. You do the $49 membership. That is right. And I think I have that also. So now Office Max get real inexpensive if you buy. They have a thing where if you spend $150, then hold on, let me reply back to them real quick. They want to know will I accept the military ID? Yes, I will. Should I consider this a confirmation of the appointment because I have not heard from him? All right, because I've been trying to get in contact with him and all of that. So yeah, they just asked me would I accept military ID. I can do that. Say his name. Okay. Ooh, boy, they got a lot of pages up here. Goodness gracious. A lot of documents. Ooh, boy. A little more than probably about 160, about 160 pages. Okay, we good. All right. So let me get on up out of here, y'all. Membership removes the need to. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't. Okay, bet. Case is $34. And is that for 5,000 sheets or is that for the smaller? Because sometimes they be like, yeah, for $29, and then it's only 3 reams. I always like to get the 10 reams. If it's less than 10 reams, I don't mess with it. I don't mess with it at all and stuff and everything. So I'm gonna just confirm. I'm gonna assume that this is confirmed for the night. 6 o'clock. Meet this guy. All right, let me get on out of here. Go get my son, pick him up, drop him off, and then come back here and print these documents and all that stuff and confirm some orders while I'm out there. But I appreciate y'all as always. Okay, he said for 10 reams. I'm gonna have to double check that. All right. Y'all have a good one. Continue hitting me in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and I will answer you back. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.